Now we get into the second half of the final stages of the season opener of 2024. Time for DD2 and DD2 Masters. Here's your starting grid. It's an all-German front row courtesy of Nikita Genzer and Mats Johan Overhoff, with Nicolas Guillaume and Yori Clerbaud upholding Belgian pride on row 2. Imke Arts will start 5th. Alongside her will be Bastian Klaphoff, who took the win in the pre-final in DD2 Masters. Nico Hanke and Sam Knofius will be on row 4, with Christoph Adams joined by Bas van Vlimmeren on row 5, completing the top 10. Yes, it's Spans, Rick van der Straat, Moritz Knofius, Kian de Brandt, Luca Weber, Axel Goes, Luca Neuenhausen, Malte Schlatter, Dominic Hummels, Giel Blonder, Roland Lassol, Wim Rouleau, Lisanne Kielstra, Ton van Weert, Norman van Beek, Manny Fassot and Christophe Lassot rounding out the top 27, completing the 31-strong grid. Mark van der Kamp, Bennett Demler, Niels Berler and Derek van Kurt. Van Kurt in the 416 was found to be underweight post-race and was promptly excluded. The 577 of Dominic Hummels actually had an extra lap added. Passing missed at start-finish at 12:30 due to being pushed outside. And then we had 5 drivers, one of which was DD2 Masters, Christophe Lassort. Then we had the 455 of Axel Goes, Malte Schlatter in the 480, the 420, Sam Knofius, and the 418 also receiving a 5-second time penalty. Yes, he spans for front-fairing post-race penalties. So 13 minutes on the clock plus an additional lap. Norman van Beek, I don't see a transponder ping, so has not come through across the start-finish line. Everyone's starting to weave from side to side again, down in towards turn number 10. So, in this particular race, 2 classes in competition, and there can only be one winner of each class come the checkered flag. The drivers now make their way through the 12th and final corner. Genzer on pole, Overhoff alongside. It's a Door Motorsport front row. Bit of bumping now happening in the start phase. Revs rise, lights are on. Lights are out, we're underway. First time of asking. As Nicolas Guillaume, gives a bit of a hip check to, an inadvertent hip check there to Mats Johan Overhoff, who manages to get back through into P3. So Guillaume up to 2nd. The rest of the field making their way through turn 3, into 4, now into 5. So it's going to be very much nip and tuck as to how close it's going to be between certain drivers. Nearly 3 wide coming out of turn 6 at the back end of the field. Manot Fassot just at the back end there in the 441. And Genzer already, like he did in the pre-final earlier on, has stretched away to a commanding lead. Guillaume, 2nd. Overhoff rounds out the top 3. I think that's Imke Arts in 4th. Nico Hanke just behind in the 450. So Genzer leads after lap 1. Lead of nearly a 2nd. Guillaume. And there goes Imke Arts. Throws it up the inside. Textbook on Mats Johan Overhoff. So, and Overhoff trying to fight back. You've got to watch your 6 there a little bit, and that allows, going through at turn 6, that allows Nico Hanke to have the opportunity to get through on Imke Arts, and Hanke does not take full advantage of the situation. Yori Clerbaud is now with them, as that is Hanke through on Arts for P4. And there is Yori Clerbaud on the left-hand side. Bastian Klaphoff gone stealth black on the Nassau panel and the side pods, along with the front fairing. So this time, it does really get very, very crucial. You've got to get your season off to the best start possible. And at this point, Nikita Genza has done exactly the right thing. Get cleanly away, lead, and don't look back. Jordi Klebo up the inside of Imke Arts through at turn 6. So that is a change now for 5th position because Nico Handke currently runs in 4th behind Mats-Johan Overhoff, who rounds out the top 3. Bastian Karpov is going to have a little bit of fight coming his way, courtesy of Christoph Adams and also Bas van Vlimmeren. So this is where, if you want your season to get off on the right best foot forward, you're doing the right thing now. Norman van Beek, unfortunately, did not look like he made it to the start. But Genza still holding on to a comfortable lead. But there has been a change, and going up the inside, through on Jordi Klebo, goes Imke Arts. That opened the door 100% for Bastian Karpov in the 5-2-0. And there is Christoph Adams. Adams has also got through on Klebo. Klebo now threads it up the inside through into turn 7. And this might not help Christoph Adams at all. The main reason being he's second in the run of the lie of the land at the moment. But he's got Bas van Vlimmeren not too far behind. And what he does not want to have is someone trying to challenge him at this early stage of the race. But Christoph Adams has got experience in spades, let's say, when it comes to, you know, you might not be as quick as everybody else. But the other thing that you do have is you have a little bit of what they call savoir-faire, you know, knowing how to read the situation and how to play your best strengths towards it. Luca Weber has just pulled in the 4.33 out on lap 3. In the meantime, change has occurred. Jesse Spons has got through on the Sodi card in France, so that is a change for a place on the road. But Imke Arts now having moved over to, I think, Sheepers Racing possibly. A little bit of nearly coming together, coming through turn 11. But Nicolas Guillaume is starting to bring that gap down. New fastest lap by the 444. 54.711. Imke Arts now is behind Bastian Karpov. But Imke Arts is currently sitting 5th in the running order when it comes to the DD2s. So coming up to just over 7 minutes and 45 seconds remaining on the clock, plus those all-important additional 2 laps. Top 10, rounded out by 7.5 years, covered by 6.3 seconds. Norman van Beek was actually a non-starter. I've just had a look at the live timing, and that has told me that my possible thoughts were completely unfounded and completely unsubstantiated. Genza now starting to respond to Guillaume. And at this moment, well, Imke Arts' new fastest lap of the race. 54.651 from the 421 from the Netherlands. And there is Imke Arts just ahead of Bastian Karpov in the 5.20. Still leading the way in the Masters classification. But to be at up to 6th place against some young, very racy drivers, and to still be able to do that is a joy to behold. It's a treat to watch, especially when they start putting in the purple lap times. Gap between Genza and Guillaume now just over 7 tenths. It's slightly climbing bit by bit, but Guillaume last time around was exactly a tenth slower on his previous lap, a 54.674, played 54.774. And there is Christoph Adams. Zemknopf is right behind him, closing in. Right, we have got a yellow flag just off of the exit of turn 8. So has there been a drama? I can see a marshal towards coming towards that part of the, well, is actually down through the run into turn 9. From turn 9 down to turn 10. Genzer now putting the pedal to the metal. He is pulling away. As Kian de Brandt might be the next casualty. I've just seen the blue square of doom on the live timing. And, well, actually, Norman van Beek failed to follow tyre regulations and was then excluded from starting. That's a big chunk of points that you don't get. So with 5 minutes to go and 8 minutes completed, Nikita Genzer still leads the way. Ton van Veert has dropped all the way down to 28th. Kian de Brandt only a couple of laps behind the lead lap, so might have ended up in some drama. And now Imke Arts is trying to push the envelope of speed and adhesion on these DD2 karts. Trying to close on in on Nico Handke. This is the battle for 4th on the road. And Mats Johan Overhoff is not that far in front as Imke Arts goes through by a whisker. Positions the kart exactly where it needed to be. Minimal amounts of steering input. Knew how to sort out the brakes and the throttle, and now has that opportunity of having a really, really strong finish to what has been probably a crazy few weeks. So in the meantime, Imke Arts' nice little send up the inside of the 450 of Nico Handke has been quite refreshing for her. Christoph Adams holding on to 2nd position in DD2 Masters. So Genzer still carrying on with the business at hand. It's going to be a pretty straightforward win for the South African DTM driver. So there's Nico Handke being closed on in. That's Bastian Klapov up the inside. That's going to be a change on the road. And they have a little bit of a slight sidewall touch. Jordi Klebor decides he wants a piece of the action too. Has to back out of it right at the last second. Oh, and I've just seen that the 522, Niels Berler, has just been given a 3-second time penalty for unsportsmanlike driving. Well, that just goes to show with racing, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. It's just the name of the game. You just got to play along with it. Jordi Klebor again trying to get through on Nico Handke for possible information. So with 1.25 minutes to go, plus 2 additional laps, Genzer on course for the overall win in this class. Christoph Adams won't be able to get up the order as high as Bastian Karpov, so the German would definitely but again, more attempts happening. That was the 4.20. And this is getting a bit too close for comfort once more. The 4.20 and then the 4.50. So Kian de Brandt out on lap 7. Luca Weber out on lap 2. Norman van Beek didn't even make it out of the dummy grid. And so as we have got one that's just peeled in to the pit lane. I think that's Christophe Lessor's race and weekend over and out, over and done with. So that'll bring us down to 27 finishes at the end of this race. Timer has now expired. There will be but Nikita Genza has pretty much been unassailable so far today. So Nikita Genza, Nicolas Guillaume, Overhoff, and Arts Imke. With a lead of 1.5 seconds from Nikita Genza to Nicolas Guillaume. People might say, well, yeah, 1 second, that's not long enough. Yeah, it's too long. We have to concentrate on so many other things. Like what? And I said, I can't talk to you about that in a minute. Why have you put me on this? And I said, well, sometimes it's okay to not be okay. So the final lap very much underway, and Genza has the lead of over the best part of nearly 1.6 seconds. He's making his way through into turn 6 at the Europalan for the final time. So Nico Hanke and Christophe Lessort also look to have retired. So down to 26 out of the 31 drivers that started this race. But this man, once again, started from pole. This man here also was hoping to set pole position, but got knocked out. But it is going to be Nikita Genza that's going to pick up the win by a comfortable margin. Number 1, he says, 1.7 seconds ahead of Nicolas Guillaume, Mats Johan Overhoff, Imke Arts, Bastian Karpov, who will be the DD2 Masters winner for this weekend, as far as I'm aware. So, Bas van Vlimmeren, Rick van der Start, Axel Goes, Moritz Knopfiers. So there's still quite a few of these drivers yet to come across the line. Moritz Knopfiers finished in 13th, have Malte Schlatter with Mark van der Kamp, Bennett Demler, Dominic Hummels, Wim Rouleau, Guy Brande, Ronan Lessort, Derek van Geurt, Niels Beuler, Luca Neuenhausen, Lisanne Kielstra, Marit Fassot, and Tom van Weert, with Hanke, Lessort, de Brandt, Weber. It's quite a few. But that is our last race for DD2 and DD2 Masters. Up next, it's KZ2 Masters once again.